5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire. The only thing we have to fear is fear.
Mile 18.
This is Endurance Nation.
95% of endurance athletes are wasting their time and money trying to solve race day problems with more training. And guess what? You're probably one of them. Here inside Endurance Nation, we've cracked the code on race day performance, and we're on a mission to make ordinary athletes into expert racers. Our revolutionary approach to race execution, the 4 keys, is only part of our ecosystem. Race execution is baked into our entire season trajectory, from homework that our athletes do, to key training sessions, to race day support, to debriefs, and content that actually supports you becoming a smarter and stronger athlete. If you're interested in upping your intellectual game and making sure that you're just as mentally tough as you are physically strong, go to endurancenation.us. You'll find resources on that page and an opportunity to sign up for our newsletter, including free courses that will teach you some of our frameworks and start you on the path to becoming a better athlete. If it's got a finish line, we're ready to help you get there. Find us at endurancenation.us.
5 seconds, athletes. Here we go.
Hey everyone, Coach Patrick here. Got a great episode for you today. Today we're talking big picture, right? A chance for us to step away from the hustle and bustle about our daily decisions, workouts, nutrition, health, etc., and sort of talk more a little bit about the building blocks that put together a fantastic season. Inside Endurance Nation, we talk about race execution and focus on racing all the time. But it's not just that we're talking about race day. In fact, a great race is often the result of a fantastic season. Blocks that have been put together over time to create what is a fantastic race. Great races don't just happen. Sure, as you get better at racing, you can kind of pull one out or kind of pull one over on the competition through better decision making or a critical decision at a key point in the race and your fitness that you have at the time, or maybe experience on the course. But the reality is that most of the time, that's just a dream. That's sort of our movie vision of ourselves, which is great. We're always handsome and dashing and smart, beautiful, funny, witty, and also competitive, but not in a way that alienates people. You know that person, right? Yeah, not us, right? Because we're real people and we make mistakes and we need to do better over time, as consistency is our friend. And that really brings me to today's topic, which is run durability, the unsung hero of a fantastic season inside Endurance Nation. So let me tell you a little bit of the backstory of the Run Durability Project. So we started this, I want to say about 10 years ago now, when we realized that our athletes who are entering our winter training protocol, known as the out season, second phase of the year, were actually only able to run for about 5 or 6 weeks before they ran into run injury. And this was across all levels, whether you were a strong runner or returning to running or just sort of not great at running as your strength, like say cycling or swimming was your strength. All levels of athletes were running into problems. So we stepped back and took a look at it. And the interesting part was looking at the data. It wasn't just athletes who were following the program or exceeding the volume. It was all athletes of all different types of compliance levels were running into trouble. And what we realized was that the prior year, people had built a level of fitness that was fantastic, and they carried that mindset of fitness through to the new year, but their body was lagging. They didn't have the infrastructure. They didn't have the equipment, the chassis to be able to put together the numbers that they wanted right off last year. Because in fact, that transition period between the two was actually a time when most athletes just backed away from their functional training. They did more fun stuff, more relaxation stuff, or they did no stuff at all. They left their bike in a box and didn't do anything. And that didn't help them going forward into the new year. So our challenge with the durability product was to create a protocol that would allow us to have our athletes do the minimal amount of training required, but also be checking the boxes so that they'd be successful when it was time to get back to work. Enter the durability project, which is what we're going to talk about today. So it's primarily a run durability project. And the reason why it matters is that for running, consistency and frequency are the biggest differentiators. So people will look at it and say, well, volume, which is an outcome of consistency and frequency. The volume's the thing. I've got to run 50 miles or 60 miles, or the greatest are running 80 miles or 90 miles, 100 miles. That's not what it is. They're working on consistency and frequency. That the distance is an outcome from that in terms of how we work. And consistency and frequency make sure that you're actually doing the right work to build the resiliency to manage your run training load. Right. So it actually creates a low level manageable load, like a micro dose of a load that allows you to be able to handle. So like a little bit of stress every day allows you to handle more stress later, but we just do it super slow and incrementally with the run. Whereas normally when you're training for a run, you're worried about getting ready for a half marathon or a marathon or something even bigger. And you're worried about distance. Again, there's that distance number, right? And you're pushing for it. And that's not your friend at all. It's not the distance you want to be paying attention to. It's the consistency and the frequency with which you're putting in your work, right? It also allows you to carry this resiliency into your season without the high level of fatigue that volume would bring to the table. And it allows you to bring a really strong, what we call mental six-pack into the race prep period. You've been doing regular runs, short, frequent runs. You've seen the power of them, and you're not distracted or carried away with this desire to put in high volume from what you're reading about or high intensity from what you see your other training friends doing who are trying to cram in their fitness last minute. You've built this great engine, momentum, if you will, across your season that makes a big, big difference, right? Finally, it eliminates race day surprises. You can count on your body. It's not about doing lots of volume to be ready for the race. It's about doing the frequency and the consistency. So we're going to change a little bit of your perspective with this durability product, which is why it's so important for athletes to take. You can get it inside Endurance Station. If you go to endurancestation.us right now, apply to join the team. We'll put you on the durability protocol to start that process right away. So here we go. 3 types of runners, and let's see which type of runner you are. Are you ready? Number 1, the fragile runner. You'll always be breaking. Like always, something goes wrong. Like you run 2 weeks, calf run, Achilles run, plantar, like whatever it is. You're just a fragile runner. You like running, you love running, you respond well to running, but you really have to be smart and manage it. Durability helps you by keeping that load low and never putting you to the breaking point, just letting you be strong under that ceiling of breaking and possibly even raising that number a little bit higher to make the future training more manageable and actually a little more relevant to your races without bumping into that fragility zone. Okay. Number 2, the fading runner. You're the kind of runner who starts great in the beginning of the season and just runs out of energy and mojo and doesn't do well over those long distances. Well, guess what? Durability is perfect for you. You get to check the box. You did your run for the day, but we're not overdoing it. We're not overcooking it. We're not putting you in a position of danger. It's actually going to allow you to build that long-term strength, the technique and the form that you need to be able to maintain to hold your speed at the end of a long race or at the end of a long season to be successful, right? So great for you as well. And then 3rd, the fast runner. You just love going super fast all the time, like speed, speed, speed. Your biggest problem when you get to an endurance race and endurance training is that you can't run that fast and still be a great endurance athlete because that high speed running has a cost. And it starts to affect not only your other disciplines, but also your ability to run consistent weeks over time to prepare for your big race. At the end of the day, race execution, our race preparation block is 12 weeks long. Getting ready to train for that is your biggest mission of the season to make sure you're ready. Lots of fast running doesn't get you ready to put on the training load that you've got to be able to manage. So this durability is your chance to sort of explore the other end of the continuum in a low cost setting when you don't have a race looming and you're not lamenting the loss of your speed because you're super worried about it. Instead, we get ready. Okay. So how do we do this? To implement durability, and this is all part of our protocol, but I'll give you some hints for you. Number 1, we have to determine what your durability pace is. What's your all-day pace? And it's important to do this because left to your own devices, guilty as charged, you start to ratchet that number up. For me, I like to run a marathon at somewhere between 7 and 7:30, probably 7:30 at these days, right? It's sort of my goal marathon pace. But in reality, my durability pace should be 8s or 8:15s. Just easy. I'm just running to run. I should be looking around. I shouldn't be hearing my breath. I should be exploring the sights, saying hi to people. I'm not running hard. And we have to know that number so we don't break that number. Okay. Number 2, we have to determine the appropriate mileage. And your best job is to go back and look at the last 10 to 12 weeks, see what your regular weekly mileage was, and pick that average number. So the last 10 weeks, which includes probably part of your last year and part of some time off, et cetera, say you were 18 or 20 miles. 18, 20 miles is our target. We're going to break it up with frequency and consistency to make it manageable. We're not starting out at 18, and we're not going to go up to 25 just because your friends are doing it. We're going to look at that 18 and say, we'll do a couple of weeks at 16, then we'll do a few at 18, then we'll get to 20 and maybe 22 by the end of this durability block. Okay. And then we come up with a basic workout structure. And for you, it's really more about location and making sure we stay in the zone. So you may be starting off with 2-mile runs based off your weekly mileage or 3-mile runs. We want some variety in there to keep some regular dose low. In an ideal world, when you start the durability program, here's the golden rule for you. You should be able to, wake up in the morning, do your stretching, turn on your coffee, go for your run, come back, and your coffee should still be warm, ready to go. So 2 miles, 3 miles, maybe 30 minutes max. That coffee's still kind of warm. That's the goal here with the run durability. It's almost eventually it gets to a place where you check the box. It doesn't even feel like a workout later. Okay. Now we have beginner, advanced, and intermediate approaches to durability as we're here. But the real piece that you need to understand right now is how this fits in with your year. Durability replaces the transition when you used to just do all sorts of other crazy stuff. For those of you who love winter sports, this is preparation for you to do great in the winter sports, whether it's the out season with Endurance Nation or your own winter sport, skate skiing, skinning uphill, whatever it is that you like to do, cross country. In the winter, this is that foundational work that gets you ready, strength and durability work that goes in there, right? This sets the stage for our out season when we do fast before far, before we get into the specificity on your particular discipline for your year, and then into the race preparation phases, et cetera, as we build out your entire season from that race execution and that key race approach that we use inside Endurance Nation. Now, for you on your own, this part is critical because it's the work that actually sets you up for the next stage. You can skip parts of the equation, but it's kind of like skipping chapters or key sections of a book, or just not watching the first hour of Lord of the Rings and trying to understand the rest of the trilogy. Doesn't make sense because you don't know what happened in the beginning, right? We have to start in the beginning with the durability process. And this, my friends, is that time of year. We're in Q3 of the season. This is when we do our durability work. So as you transition out of your races, transition over into durability. We can work in some recovery and rest for you as well, but don't miss out on this opportunity to set the stage to be successful. As a reminder, it's consistency over intensity, right? It's frequency over a rapid progression or a gigantic ramp in terms of your stress. And it's balance. We like to make sure that we're doing some running, but you also have opportunities for some functional strength or whatever sport you're enjoying right now. It could be cycling, could be swimming, could be hiking, could be whatever it is you want, but we're getting that baseline durability, just that small dose every day. Consider it to be your endurance multivitamin that's not only going to set you up to being healthy every single day, but healthy and strong when you need it the most. When the training load starts to build later in the year, the mental fatigue sets in and you can look back on the stage and say, you know what, made lots of smart decisions then. I'm ready. I'm consistent. I know my body and I'm ready to go. All right. Awesome. Hey, thanks for tuning in. If you're interested in the durability protocol, go to enduranceStation.us. You can sign up for any one of our free courses there or our newsletter to get more updates on opportunities to join, or you can use the apply button at the top. Join us right away. Submit your application with your key races for next season. I'll map out everything for you so you're ready to go. And we'll make sure you're going to have a fantastic year starting now with the durability protocol. Have a great week, everyone. I'll see you soon.
Endurance Nation.
Hey, podcast fans. I know you love the podcast because here you are, you're listening to it and you're still listening to me talk right now. Did you know you can get content just like this in your inbox once a month? We send out a great newsletter. We call it, guess what? The Unfair Advantage. That's right. It's our information to you, something that separates you from the competition. If they're not here, then they don't know. But if you are here, then now you do. Zero excuses. If you go check us out online at endurancenation.us/newsletter, it's your opportunity to enter your email address, sign up for these updates. They come once a month, sometimes twice a month, depending on my race schedule. And it's your chance to get insider information that's going to help you become a better, smarter athlete. Don't miss out on this chance to get ahead of the competition. It doesn't cost you any money, and it's not a ton of work. It's just your email address. That's endurancenation.us/newsletter.
For more information about Endurance Nation, visit us online at endurancenation.us. The provided music is from the Podshow Podsafe Music Network. Check it out at music.podshow.com.